What's going on, goats? My name is Raymo, and welcome back to BooKoo Bucks. Today, I'll be breaking down exactly how I caught this about 1 to 4 RR on gold futures this morning. So let's start off by breaking down the higher time frame and show you what my bias was. So if you guys remember yesterday, I was actually looking too long after price tapped this 30-minute order block. But once price broke underneath, I am more than willing to potentially look at this as a break of structure since price did give a new lower low. So if this is a break of structure, usually I want to see price pull back up into premium before looking for shorting opportunities. And seeing that price is down here in discount and has not tapped the 50%, I am anticipating bullish price action up into premium. I went down to the 1 hour time frame. This right here technically is not 1 hour structure because if I do zoom out, this is the 1 hour low to the 1 hour high. So basically it's the exact same thing as the 4 hour time frame. But nonetheless, we do have a 1 hour internal high down to a low. And seeing price broke above this, I'm more than willing to potentially look at this as an internal break of structure, or we can even classify this as a change of character of some sort. So either way, if this is truly an internal break of structure or a change of character, usually I want to see price pull back down into discount before pushing on higher. So honestly, if you guys were with me during the live session, I was actually anticipating price to push down deeper into discount rather than push on higher. And during a London session, if you guys recall, I actually was seeing even when price broke above this high, I was anticipating this to be a structural inducement or rate on buy side liquidity, whatever you want to call it, before price was going to go on lower. I did have these targets down here where we had equal lows resting down here. And we also had trendline liquidity, sell side liquidity resting underneath here as well. So I was anticipating price to actually run these lows and push on lower, right? But I did state if price were to make a new high relative to here, meaning if this truly was an inducement, price should pull back and not make a new high. If it were to make a new high, then at that point, this has to be some form of a break of structure. So since price showed me its willingness to go higher, I then decided to flip my bias and look for potential longs. I will point out, even though price is continuing to push higher right now, it is definitely possible that the bias of price taking out sell side liquidity underneath these lows and still targeting these lows to then come down into discount before pushing higher is definitely possible. But once again, or not once again, because I haven't brought it up in this video, but ultimately I am looking to see what price is giving me in the moment, especially as an intraday trader. We are just trading what we see for that specific session. So if I see price continuing to push higher, I'm going to maintain that bullish price action or bullish bias until price tells me something different. So to be quite honest with you guys, I did notice that price did give a 2 candlestick pullback before pushing on higher. So if you guys are very tedious in following my rules, this technically could be a potential break of structure to go lower. But also remember that this also could be a structural inducement. If it is a structural inducement, price should not go lower, pull back, and make a new low. Price should be taken out the low and then push on higher as it did here. So I will point out that technically when price broke underneath here, this also could act as a potential break of structure. But again, I was looking at this as a structural inducement because of the higher time frame bias that I already gave. So long story short here, I noticed that price came on lower. We took out this low here, and then we took out some more lows within this trend line right here. So once price took out these lows, I went ahead and looked at the lower time frame down here on the 1 minute time frame. On the 1 minute time frame, I noticed that price gave a nice 1 minute break of structure. We had this M1 high down to this M1 low, and price broke above it. Once price broke above it, I went ahead and pulled out my fib from swing low to swing high, just like this. As price was pulling on back, I was not confused or looking to long in this area because price is in premium and I'm anticipating price to push on lower. I did plot two POIs. I had a nice continuation order block here as this order block is in discount and takes out sell side liquidity. I also had an extreme order block down here, just like this. And to be quite honest with you guys, I have been trying to be a tad bit more aggressive with my entries, meaning I'm simply placing you technically could use a buy limit order. Me personally, I like to see some type of rejection of some sort, but ultimately, I am trying to place a long or a short position before price even gives that bullish engulfing or bearish engulfing candle. Just something that I've been trying to test out a tad bit more. So as price pushed on lower, I seen price took out this continuation order block, so I had no reason to long from here. We did note that price took out this low here and tapped into the extreme order block. At this point, my stop loss was relatively small compared to the overall take profit all the way up here. So I was willing to take the chance on this trade. I took the long here, again, simply just seeing price slightly reject from this order block, and then price began to push on higher. To be quite honest, this was a little bit difficult on my psychology a tad bit because if you notice, price ended up pushing on higher and they came back to the break even a tad bit lower. And then price made a new high and then had this huge dump down lower, even taking out this low. But I honestly did not move my stop loss to break even. Usually I would move it to break even. If you guys were with me on yesterday's trade setup, I did put it to break even and hit my break even. So I think the fact that yesterday's price action hit my break even when I did not want it to and it went in my direction, I think I was a bit more resilient on keeping my stop loss underneath this low instead. And thankfully, price did go higher and did end up making this new high. As we speak right now, ultimately, I should have taken full profits at this high. This would have given me about a 1 to 5 RR setup, but I was willing to allow price to run on higher if it wanted to run on higher. So simply, I moved my trailing stop underneath this low, and this is the candlestick that ended up taking out that trailing stop. And it makes sense here because price took out buy side liquidity, so we're anticipating some type of retracement, and we can see on the 1 minute time frame, price gave some type of chain of character and most likely is going to push on lower. So that is basically the full breakdown of today's gold trade. If you guys have any comments or questions, please don't be afraid to ask them. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.